When I was in college, I noticed I had this tendency that whenever I would get stressed or whenever there would be a big test, a lot of assignments would build up, I would run to the cabinet every 5 minutes and grab a snack. Or as a procrastination tool, I would go out and grab a meal. And I remember there was a moment where sometimes you realize that in hindsight, and sometimes in the present moment you realize you are procrastinating. You're using whatever distraction you're using as a coping mechanism to not deal with the thing that you have to do, to not do the work that you have to get done. So I was studying for finals, and this is my junior year, and I realized I was doing that. Like every 5 minutes for the last 30 minutes, I had ran to the cabinet to grab a snack, and I wasn't hungry. But I noticed as I did that, as time went on, I grew more and more sluggish. I grew more and more detached from what I was supposed to be doing. And I had this little conversation with myself where I was like, oh dude, you're trying to sedate yourself. That's what overeating does. That's what over-consuming carbohydrates does. It gives us a bit of dopamine because we get the rush of having something that tastes good. But the outcome is a less focused, more sluggish, more tired version of yourself. And I've always kind of struggled with food in that way, knowing when to stop, knowing how to say no, and even though it's available, I don't have to eat it. And food is an addiction. Food is as addicting to some people as drugs are to a drug addict. Food is a drug, and it's one of the most common drugs, but it's also one of the most overlooked because it's food. I think back to thousands of years ago when how we got food was through hunting or gathering. Back then, you didn't see too many fat people. There wasn't an abundance of options. You couldn't go to Taco Bell, McDonald's, the corner spot to grab a snack, the grocery store. You had to go out and get your food. And through starvation, through that hunger, we have this mechanism in our brain. And this is why a lot of people fast and love fasting. There's this mechanism in our brain that when we're in a starved state, we become more cognitively aware and focused. But we live in an abundance society. We have a lot, and we have a lot of options. And so those might be some of the indicators for you, like I was describing, that you might have some level of a food addiction. Are you eating when you're stressed? Are you eating until you're stuffed and completely full? Are you eating based off of craving versus off what makes you feel good? Like, oh, I'm craving this, I'm craving that. Are you having those cravings consistently throughout the day? Are you always thinking about food? I think a lot of people are. However, you don't want to get to the point where you're a slave to your consumption. You want to consume based on the job that you have to perform. That is how we should view our intake. You consume based on the energy that you need for the job that you need to perform. And beyond that, you consume based on the goal that you have for the physique that you would like to have. That's it. And this is a really common topic. It's a topic I'm passionate about because it's a topic that I really struggle with. And I've done the work with people who are deep into a food addiction to have them get on a track where they are losing weight, because you can eat yourself to death. You can eat so much that you are unable to move around very well anymore. You can eat so much you eat yourself into diabetes. I've seen it with family members. So, yeah, food is a drug. Now, ways that you can manage that, like how do we combat that relationship with food? And food is so psychologically ingrained into our behavior. The behaviors that we have with food, the tendencies that we have with food, they're so ingrained we don't even realize it. And we might have 20 years of bad habits of a relationship with food, or 40 years or 60 years of bad habits with our relationship with food. And so the few things that are really helpful for people who have that struggle, these are things that have been helpful for me. These are the things that have been really, really helpful for clients of mine who struggle with this. Start tracking your food. Have a awareness of hand to mouth. Everything that goes into your body, everything that you intake into your system, write it down, track it, become consciously aware of how many calories that might have in it. Get accountability. Ask your spouse, ask a friend, ask your roommate, hey, keep an eye out for what I'm eating. Make sure I'm eating healthy. You need an accountability buddy, all right? That's extremely helpful. That is the beauty of having a trainer, right? You have that level of accountability in all these aspects of your health and wellness. And beyond that, from a more practical standpoint, be aware of how your body responds to certain foods. Have the wherewithal to know that when you eat certain things, you feel like shit. Okay? I'm gonna stay away from those foods that make me feel terrible after I eat them. And I'm gonna try and stick to the foods that make me feel good, alive, vital, focused after I eat them. Pay attention to quantity. How much can I eat of certain things? How does my body respond? How does my digestive system working? It took me 22 years to realize I was lactose intolerant. I never got tested for it, but I should have known, right? Eat clean. This is our temple. You get one life, you get one opportunity to make these decisions with the body that we have. So try to make the right ones and try to figure out the right moves. I should put this out there. If you have any questions about diet, if you have any questions in general about how maybe some of the things you've been struggling with when it comes to food, you can leave a comment down below. I'd love to have some dialogue with you. Maybe I can help. And if you have any video ideas you'd like me to cover when it comes to dietary issues, dietary struggles, fitness in general, leave a comment down below. I would love to do videos like this where I just chat through different things that I've either experienced, work with clients on, or am educated in. All right, y'all, have a great day.